Now, I know it's called a spring Zoom call, a springtime Zoom call. I'm sure for some of you it's not spring. For instance, if you were in Australia, I am 100% aware that it's not spring right now, that it's the opposite season. I taught science for a little while to high schoolers. I'm supposed to know that sort of thing. So I know it's Northern Hemisphere spring. But we wanted to do this. You can apply what we're going to do tonight, even if it's turning fall where you are. But for a lot of you, I'm guessing you're above the equator. And so it is coming into springtime. We had our spring equinox on just the 20th of this month. So we're just in our first few days of spring. Still admitting people, hang on. We're still trying to get them in here before we get cracking. All right. So yeah, I just sort of stumbled into doing these Zoom calls on seasonal changes. So I love doing a Christmas in the Heavens. Anybody join us for a Christmas in the Heavens Zoom call in the past? I see some hands. Yeah, that's got to be one of my favorite things to do in life. I mean, I enjoy Christmas so much. I enjoy doing a Christmas in the Heavens meeting just as much. And so when in the past we've sort of done one right around the winter solstice for a Christmas time celebration. And then I just sort of stumbled into doing a springtime one last year. In fact, we called it Heaven in the Time of Corona because the whole COVID-19 phenomenon was really getting going last spring. And so we did one then. And I just thought, how fitting is it for me? As much as I love to talk about connecting with nature and the cosmic temple, the whole cosmos, and receiving from this creation that God put around us, how appropriate is it for us to do our big Zoom calls that we just open up to all these friends all over the world around the equinoxes and the solstices? So I think I've pretty much committed myself this year to do them in those moments. So expect another one on the summer solstice for us, right around June 20th or 21st. And the same thing around the fall equinox for us Northern Hemisphere people. And again, at Christmas time. So that's kind of how this started. And I just thought it's fitting. I might as well stick with it. Now, my plan for this evening is there's three things that I want to do. Two of them are going to take up most of the time. I wanted to start this evening with an imagination exercise. I didn't want to to start off trying to tackle something big. I really just thought it's springtime. This is the season for new growth and for creative mindsets and all those things. So I thought, let's have a Zoom call where we start off just by expanding our imagination. Now, I am convinced that there's an enormous power in us realizing our imagination, not just harnessing it, but participating with it in this as this beautiful gift that God gave us. So I can never think of a bad reason to expand the power of your own imagination. Hello, Weintraub family. Did I see that square? That's Dave and Ellen right there. David and Ellen right there in Florida. I swear they're like, y'all, they live maybe a couple miles that way. They could be in this room right now with me. That's so much fun. Hey, next time we should do that. Y'all should just come over and you can hang out in the room or on camera or something when we do it. So great to see y'all. I'm looking at all your squares and sometimes I go, oh, I know those people, So anyway, I want to start tonight with an imagination exercise that is just for fun. So we'll get into that first. After that, I'd like to get into a real springtime focused heavenly visit. So we're going to go encounter really the spiritual nature of springtime itself. And I'll give a little bit of a run up to that. We'll do that secondly. Lastly, at the very end, for like the last 5 minutes, I'm just going to give you an update about what's going on in our world and what we're doing, what the whole Discover the Heavens picture is doing. Some of you have been asking me, what do you have going on these days and what's coming up? And there's some things I want to share with you just that we have coming up. Now, it won't be my standard shameless product placement moment, but it'll be close because we have online classes coming up and things like that. But I'm going to do that last. And for this reason, I know some of y'all are jumping on here tonight because it really is the case of, hey, I want to get on this Zoom call. Let's go to heaven together, exercise our life in the Spirit together. And I do not want to interfere with that at all. So you're not going to be surprised by that at the end. I'm going to kind of close it down and say, only if you're interested and the kinds of things that we're doing coming up should you stay on the Zoom call. That way it doesn't interfere with our environment that we're creating tonight, and there's no like shameless product placement moment. So I'll do that at the end. You will have a big time fair warning about that. So if you want to drop off at the end, because that's not what you're interested in, there's no love lost on this end at all. And if y'all are like, yeah, I kind of want to know what's going on, then hang around those last 5 minutes. I'll do that. Okay, you ready for a fun imagination exercise? Good, me too. All right, quick confessional moment. So I live in Florida. And because apparently I'm a terrible parent, I had not taken my kids to Disney World until recently. I know, I feel bad. I feel like I've been judged by a number of people. And so I just wasn't feeling it, partly because I was like, I liked the money we had, and I didn't feel like just like going to a place where it just fell out of me everywhere I went. You know, there was, as a dad and a husband, I was like, do I really want to do that? And so, you know, right now, or in February when we went, you know, Florida's making it pretty easy to go if you're a Florida resident. So my wife was like, we should do it. And I was like, all right, I'm in, like now or never. Hashtag no regrets. Let's go. And so we went to the park they call the Animal Kingdom, Disney's Animal Kingdom. And they have a section of Animal Kingdom that's made to look like the scene from the movie Avatar, the world of Pandora. Everybody see the movie Avatar? Wildly imaginative movie. I mean, you can't go wrong. If you're feeling like a little, like the imagination's going a little low, I don't know, watch Avatar. It's a great little boost, you know? And so they have this ride called Flights of Avatar, which essentially they put you on a motorcycle-like seat and you're wearing 3D glasses, and there's this giant panoramic screen. And of course the seat you're on moves and it sprays mist at you, but it's like you're flying through the world of Avatar. So as soon as it started, I was like, yeah, I've seen stuff like this in heaven. I mean, that was my first thought. Like, I have done this very thing, only my seat didn't move because I was clearly sitting in my seat while I'm participating in the heavenly realm, right? But this, of course, everything's moving and it's blowing wind and, you know, mist on you when you're flying by a waterfall. It was just amazing. But I had this moment where I was like, I just wanted to peek away from the ride for just a second. It was too good to peek away for too long. And I just looked at my my son, who was sitting on my right, and my daughter, who was on my left. True to their personalities, my son had this look on his face that was like sheer intensity. In his mind, he is riding this dragon-like thing through Avatar, and he's going to win this ride. If there's a prize, he's going to get it. Like sheer intensity, he's gripped it. It's like in his mind, he's flying it, you know? I peeked over at my daughter, who probably shares my love for imagination maybe a little bit more than my son does, although it's just in a different way, right? I mean, he's just Samuel, right? Isabel, you know, you kind of talk with her, you might go, well, the apple didn't fall too far from the tree, you know? So Isabel, I look over at her and the look on her face is sheer elation. She is just like everything she's ever dreamed of is happening right now. Like she is flying on this winged creature around these waterfalls and everything else. And we got done with the ride. And I was like, my goodness, you know, like that was intense. And that is like what I've experienced in the heavens. And my wife said later, she wouldn't kind of show me her cards then. And we've done this to each other before. We kind of play it off like it wasn't a big deal. We're like, hey, what'd you think about that? Oh yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of cool too. And then like a week or two later, I'm like, what'd you think about that ride? And she was like, I had to fight back tears. And I was like, me too. Like, why'd you play it off like it wasn't a big deal, you know? Because it does something inside where you're like, I think I might have been meant to do something just like this. You know, you resonate with it on a level. Now, what I want to do as an imagination exercise is kind of take you to a little bit of a Pandora-like place. Let me get someone in the Zoom room here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm going to show you 3 pictures. And again, this is just an imagination exercise. So you have to like hang with me on this one. Please do not tackle this first section of our meeting tonight like we're going to solve all the world's problems. We are not. In this first moment, we're not going to solve any problems. We are just going to see how good our imagination can tell us a beautiful story. So I'm going to show you 3 pictures. Your job tonight as we start is to pick the one that resonates with you the most. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you one. I'll talk you through them. Here we go. Share the screen moment coming up. There we are. Share. Okay, hopefully you can see my screen. You see the big zoom thing? Is that what you see there? Hopefully you're seeing it. Give me a little nod. Thank you very much. Okay, good. I saw those nods. Okay, here's the first image. Now, not quite, Avatar and Pandora, but what I wanted to pick was sort of floating islands in the sky. So I just want you to look at this picture for a minute. Everybody see it? Give me a nod if you can see that picture again. I can see it. Good, great. All right, take a look at this one. Castle-like structures on this island hovering above the ground. Waterfalls spilling out, around it. Just sort of take that picture in, see how your imagination sort of puts you in that scene, what you might imagine that world is like. Okay, we're going to call that Castle in the Sky. That's going to be our picture. So when I ask you which one you chose, this is going to be Castle in the Sky. Okay, you ready for the next one? You're going to pick one of these now, only one. Here we go. Different sort of floating island scene. By the way, I just kind of picked these off of a quick little Google search today. Floating islands in the sky kind of thing. So same sort of structures, island-like thing floating in the air, but if you're looking above and around it, it looks like it's almost underneath the ground. So it's like some floating, here's what I think someone imagined here, like a hollow earth kind of scene where there's this whole world underneath our feet in the underworld, and here's a structure in a city in this floating island in the sky, but it's even in some underworld, like you've got these stalactite and stalagmite. Wait, stalagmites go up, stalactites go down. Remember I taught science? That better be right. That'll be embarrassing. All right, so you see those structures in there. We're going to call this we'll call this floating island under the earth. So we have castle in the sky, floating island under the earth. Take a good look at this one, see if it resonates with you. Your imagination's going to lead the way here. And then our last one, we're going right to Pandora and Avatar here. These are those, this is like the Avatar scene of the floating mountains in the sky. Of course, no cities, no structures here, just kind of the natural scene that they painted for you in that movie of these, mountain-like structures that are floating around, and give you a minute to look at this one. We're just going to call this one Pandora because that was the world in Avatar. So you've got your castle in the sky, your floating city underground, or your floating island underground, and then the world of Pandora. So take that one in for a minute. Those are our 3 pictures. Now, quickly in the chat box, if you'd like to, tell me which one you feel like doing tonight. And just throw it in the chat box. Which one are you going to use your imagination with? Because again, we're just doing an exercise. No one's going to solve the world's problems yet. We'll get to that later. All right, pretty good mix. I feel like I'm seeing more castle in the sky than I am in Pandora than I am floating island under the earth. But there's a little bit of floating island underground coming in. A lot of castle in the sky, though. A lot of castle in the sky, a lot of Pandora. Very cool. Yeah. I'm going Pandora. That's where I'm headed. Too many memories from that ride at Disney World to not go back. All right, so few of you. Yeah, and someone said the castle in the sky reminds you of the New Jerusalem. That was Sarah. Yeah, I could see where it would. Absolutely, I could see where it would. Yeah. Wonderful, beautiful structure. Now, of course, this is just the basics for where we're going to go with this, all right? So don't think that's the whole picture. Now, wherever you chose, remember, just an imagination exercise. No, the stakes are so low, you cannot possibly mess this up. Okay. Now, wherever you are, I want you to close these eyes. I want you to open the eyes of your heart, which is your imagination. I want you to picture yourself in the one that you chose. That's all I want you to do right now. Picture yourself in the scene that you chose. Now just imagine yourself there. Your imagination's doing all the work, can't possibly mess this up. We're just going to expand the imagination tonight for a minute. So you're picturing yourself and the one that you chose. Now, all I want you to do first is imagine what it would smell like. What is your first impressions? Because your imagination already knows. And remember, you can't mess it up. What do you smell? Now, I'd love for you to put this in the chat box. That's how we're going to participate tonight, is through the chat box, because there's too many of us to unmute mics. So throw it in the chat box. What do you smell in this place? Of course, we don't know which one you're talking about, so that might be fun. We might have to guess when we read them. And again, we might not get through all of them, but we'll read some. But it's good. The reason why I tell you to put it in the chat box, I would also be telling you to talk to yourself. The more that you get it out loud or put it in writing, the more it's going to be easy to let your imagination focus. All right, so wet, earthy smell. That was my first one too. I smelled wet earth and misty stuff, and I was in that Pandora scene. Fresh dew, flowers, woody, fresh grass, fresh air. Someone's got saltwater taffy. Mist, yeah, I was getting the mist. That's where I was. I wonder if Cindy and if that's the Pandora mist for you too. Yeah, moss, chocolate, and coffee for Anita. Way to go. Someone's got an animals. You're smelling the animals. Yeah. Someone smells purple. And why wouldn't you? Absolutely. Let the imagination work here. Water, mossy grass, very good, excuse me. Cinnamon and frankincense. Man, if I had to guess, I bet that's in the city, the floating city, but I'm just guessing. Fresh air. Yeah, exotic flowers, cool, crisp, clear sunshine. You're getting all those beautiful smells. Vanilla in the castle in the sky. Yeah, right. Ocean air, that's someone else. Orange blossom. You're getting some flower names in here that I don't know. Hyacinth, is that how you say that flower name? That's not in my lane, folks. I don't know my flowers. Cinnamon. Someone's in the Pandora place. They're getting the moss, the wet, clean air. Yeah, damp rocks. Yep. Wonderful. Honeysuckle. That's Eric with the honeysuckle. Yes. Now that you've smelled, trust your sense of hearing. What do you hear? Let's let your imagination paint the picture. What do you hear in this place right now? First impressions. Say it to yourself. Say it out loud. First thing I heard was a waterfall. I heard this roaring waterfall somewhere. A lot of you guys getting rushing water. Yep. Someone hears the sound of a flute. That's tons of fun. Yep. Leaves moving in the wind. Someone else. Waterfall. Yep. Music and bells. Bees buzzing. Eagles. Harps. Yep. Calls of the dragons. Yep. Someone's in Pandora. They can hear that. Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah. The whoosh of birds flying by. Great. And you just verbalize to yourself everything that you're hearing. Now, type it in if you want to. Someone else hears the waterfall. Yeah, that's where I was. How about your sense of touch? Touch something. Anything that your imagination, again, it's you're just exercising the imagination right now. What can you feel if you let your imagination bring in those feeling sensations? Hello, Linda Thornton. I just saw your square there. How you doing? Wonderful to see you tonight. Again, apologize if I don't give you all a shout out. Sometimes I just peek open my eyes and I see you there. Yeah, what do you want to reach out and touch? For me, it was a velvety, big old like palm frond like leaf, and I could run my hand on it and feel it. Very good. Just expanding the imagination tonight. Someone felt a teacup. How about that? Still soft breeze. Yeah, you feel a fountain and you're touching the cool water. I'm guessing that's the city in the sky again. Someone else feels like a soft carpet, building bricks. Yep. Warmth of the sun, soft leaves. You feel vibration, frequency in your whole body. That's cool. The warmth of the sun, the street under your feet, got to be that city in the sky again. City in the clouds. Velvet curtain, thatched roof, leathery warm skin of the dragon. You're in the Pandora place there, Eric. Loving it. Wood railings, the cool of the stone walk, grass under your feet, pebble paths, beautiful sensations. All those touch sensations. Now, I'm assuming as you're letting the senses come in, your imagination is forming a pretty good picture of where you are in this place. So now that you've located yourself and you just all that sensory inputs, you're letting your consciousness be in that imaginative place. Now, next thing I want you to do is just simply go, Lord, where are you in this picture? Some of you have already done it. Again, it's just an imagination exercise. Don't let a lot ride on this. We're not going to solve problems or do inner healing right now, I promise. Okay, so just go, Lord, where are you in this picture? And let your imagination give you the first impression. First impressions. I'm going to read some of yours in just a minute. I'm going to give you all a minute, though, before I start reading or talking. First impression, Lord, where are you in this picture? If your imagination's doing the work, where would you say you saw the Lord? Okay, a few of these answers are sitting beside me, walking beside me. He's in the inner chamber of the castle. Sounds like big fun. On the path on my left, the doorway greeting me. So I'm sitting on like a blue Pandora dragon, right? Right beside me, walking next to the cart. Sorry, I'm skipping through some of these by accident. He's swinging me in a hammock. That was you, Matt. That's beautiful. In the clouds is what Martha said. Walking across the meadow. This dimension is inside me. Yeah, it's beautiful. That's why it was like a realization moment. It sounded like there, Deborah. Ah, great. Yep. Behind me, touching my shoulder. Yep. Someone else, somewhere with you there, Eric. Kat says he's behind her on like a pink dragon holding onto her back. Wonderful. Yeah. In the sunshine, illuminating the way to the waterfall. And someone in direct, you see him on another rock flying around. You got to be in that Pandora place too. Yeah. In the garden. Yeah. Beautiful. On his throne on the other side of the courtyard. Someone else said, we're on a hiking adventure together. Man, this is awesome. Doing great. Okay, now, sitting with me in the very top building of the city. That was you, Iris, looking out the windows. Beautiful. Wherever you see him, take in your first impressions. And it could be any part of the Godhead you're seeing right now. When you said, Lord, where are you in this picture? You might have seen Father, Messiah, Holy Spirit. Does not matter. Wherever you're seeing the Lord in this picture, next step, just take in the basics, color, clothing, expression on the Lord's face. Sometimes it's good just to take this real slow and slow down, take in the details. How do you see the Lord in this picture right now? It's just funny. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you too, because it's an imagination exercise. You can't worry about being wrong here, but I feel like I'm sitting in this garden where I was hearing the waterfall. It is this Pandora-like place, but I feel like I saw him next to me. And as I'm drinking tea, he's drinking tea. So I can see the expression on the Lord's face, just looks wonderfully happy. Yeah. Someone said what they sense there is an approachable king. That was you, Jennifer. Great. Yeah. Yeah, color, clothing, expression. I always just feel like those are good basics to take in. Now, once you've done that, just look at whatever part of the Godhead you're thinking about talking to in this exercise and just go, Lord, if we're here, what would you want to do in this place? What's on your mind? If we're here together, all right, it's just an imagination exercise, nothing writing on it. If we're here together, what do you want to do in this place? And trust those first impressions. And whatever your first impression is, because again, you can't mess this up. Whatever that first impression is, just do it. Imagine it. Imagine doing that with the Lord. If it's flying, go flying for a minute. If it's walking or just enjoying each other's presence, I think I read that one already. Just do that. Imagine it for these moments. Keep talking to yourself out loud. Keep throwing stuff in the chat box. Whatever you need to get it out, talk to yourself, write it out. Whatever you need. And I'll read some of yours in just a moment. What does he say that he wants to do? I heard some love you, fly, simply enjoy being inside of God, rest, skipping, explore the New Jerusalem, jumping off the waterfalls just for joy. Someone else said he wants to show me where my place is. That's fun. I missed a few. Sorry. We're going mining for green emeralds in a cave close by. You must be in the one underground. Gazing out the windows to the far-reaching areas of the kingdom where heaven can come down. Flying. Someone else said, I'm laughing hysterically as he tosses me up higher and higher. Wonderful. Someone else said, I don't feel scared anymore. Fantastic. He says, let's play together. Let's have some fun. So I see us sitting on the grass Indian style and we're playing a fast-paced card game. Skywalk is what someone else heard. Sitting together with wisdom beside us. Yeah. Elizabeth, you said we're making our way to the town square. He helps me set up my produce stall. He's hanging out with me in the stall and he's watching for a patron who needs healing. How much fun is this? Yeah. Oh, let's see. Any others in here? Ooh, to show me this is my real home. That's what he wants to do. And someone else co-creating at his request, a seed from, it just under the floating castles is planted. Immediately a tree is formed. Someone else, archery practice on horseback. That's fun. Great. All right, now, I just want to give you just a minute. Again, this is just an imagination exercise to open up our imagination tonight. We've got more things to do. This was just kind of our getting the motor going kind of thing. Now, some of you are probably having such a good time that you're thinking, we could actually just do this the whole time. I like what I'm doing right now. I want to go explore the New Jerusalem. I want to find my place. I want to fly around Pandora on this dragon. Of course you do. There's something about that seems just so appropriate to us as humans. So before we get done with just this little beginning practice session, I want you to take a good look around where you are with the Lord so you can come back and finish this imagination exercise. So wherever you are, I want you to go, Lord, when I come back here tonight or tomorrow or whenever you're going to get a chance, where can I pick up this story? Where I'm leaving it off. Do I pick it up here? Do I see myself there? Because when you go back to this, if you're enjoying what you're doing, you're going to want to go back and see what he has for you in this place. So just tell yourself, I want to come back just by memory. I just want to close these eyes, open the eyes of my imagination, and be right back in this place. And if wherever that is, just ask the Lord to show you, where's the place where I can just start without even thinking about it, without even having to ask you. I can just start right back here and unpress the pause button and be back in this exercise again. And again, say it to yourself. If you want to put it in the chat box, feel free. But this is really for you. We were just getting the imagination going. Now, if you want to continue this, how would you do that? So take a few moments, be grateful, tell the Lord how much fun it is to just go fly or walk or hike, and that you're going to make sure that you take advantage of your ability to do that. So just have a grateful moment, just, whatever you need to do. Sarah, you've got a great place to start back that journey in front of the falafel place. Of course. Wouldn't we all like to begin the journey with Jesus in front of the falafel place? That sounds like a great idea. Someone else, in the council room is where you're going to start up that imagination exercise again. Next to the tree of life. That was you, Donna. Absolutely. Donna goes, where's that? I'm coming. Everyone's going to the falafel place in our imaginations. That's fantastic. Luann, you said back on the balcony with the dragon. Yeah, wherever it is for you, just make sure you can go right back. and get started again. Oh, I like that. In his expansive library. Do you see how many things your imagine? It's not like we saw a library in those pictures I gave you, but your imagination's like ready to show you all these parts of the heavenly realm. And oftentimes when we take the pressure off, when we take all of the weight off of it, it's amazing how ready your imagination is to go. So it's just a good tip for you. If you feel like it ever bogs down when you're trying to experience heaven in the spirit, take the pressure off. Just do an imagination exercise. Go hang out with Jesus and fly around on the back of a dragon. Whatever works for you to bring that sense of whimsy back and to bring that sense of innocence back, where you're not carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders because you feel like you have to intercede for 18 different people when you go up in the spirit the next time. Okay. Wonderful. I love Jesus is handing out falafel sandwiches. I don't even know what a falafel sandwich is, but I know what falafel is, and I know what a sandwich is, and I like both of them. So I suspect I would like a falafel sandwich. Where's that been all my life? I mean, how can you not? I mean, isn't falafel, it's like, am I thinking of the right thing? It's like fried hummus, right? Y'all give me a nod. Do I have that right? I do? Good. Why wouldn't you put that on a sandwich? Great. All right, listen, that was just for fun. Okay. Let's do some more fun things. Tonight, our springtime Zoom call. I want to frame this up, especially if this is maybe your first time on with us on one of these kind of big open Zoom calls that we do. I don't normally take time in these Zoom meetings to explain in detail why we do what we do in these Zoom meetings. So I really want to encourage you, because I'm not going to do that tonight either. A lot of you on here know why we participate with creation. If you don't, and we get into this and you're like, I have no idea why they're talking about what they're talking about, you are free to email me, because this is what I do, right? I love to help people experience this stuff. So it's an easy email. It's chris@discovertheheavens.org. That's all you got to know. chris@discovertheheavens.org. If you feel like you get through this tonight, you're like, Christopher, you did not explain enough of that. I totally get it. So, and we'll cover that. You know, just email me. We'll work it out. But those of you that have done a Christmas in the Heavens with me before, or a springtime last year, or whenever we do these, you know that part of the reason we do it is there are some basic foundational principles here that I'm working on. Don't have to be right about all of them. You don't have to agree with me on all of them. It's really okay. This is where the journey's taking me, okay? Some of these basic principles are creation, what I call the cosmic temple. Creation is alive with spirit and with voice. And it's been that way since the beginning. We forgot it about 400 years ago, and we're starting to relearn it again. But it's alive with spirit. Everything that God made, he made with spirit. Part of that building block then goes to, you know, all that mythology that our pagan ancestors had a lot of fun with, you know, that was their spiritual life for a long time. They weren't seeing wrong. They were absolutely seeing the spiritual beings that personified various parts of the creation of the cosmic temple. But God blessed their hearts. They just didn't know they could be free to only interact with those spiritual beings that are for them, not those crazy pagan gods that, let's face it, are fallen angels, and they kind of just didn't want our good. They wanted to keep us kind of pressed down. They didn't want us getting in the place that we were designed to be in. But once we are designed, once we're in that designed place, once we're in that place that we're designed to be in, thank you for putting my email up there, chris@discovertheheavens.org, not .com. I see you asking there, Regina. Yeah, it's just .org. Thank you, Durette. You answered the question before I even could. Thank you. So once we're in that place that we are designed to be in, we can participate with the creation, but we don't have to do it in the way of our pagan ancestors. So it's not like we think they're gods. But at the same time, we don't think it's a bunch of lifeless objects out there. We recognize that the cosmic temple is alive. It is a life, full of meaning, creation. And then you read Romans 8, and this is the last kind of building block here, where Paul says that the creation is longing and groaning, waiting for the sons of God to be revealed so that they can release it. Now that's kind of the basic building block. And if you were around for Christmas in the Heavens this last year, You know, Christopher, it's a strange Christmas time with the Carter family, right? Because we just don't hesitate to talk about Saturn. We don't hesitate to talk about the origins of Christmas and Saturnalia. That there was our ancestors had this hunch that there's this spiritual being. Of course there was. The planets are, that's what our ancestors thought. These are these entities of the cosmos up there. And they thought Saturn was pretty active around the winter solstice because Saturn was always a personification of time. Well, you know, from Christmas in the Heavens, I'm like, if our pagan ancestors got it wrong, well, then we can get it right. We can participate with the angelic being, the holy spiritual being that acknowledges the preeminence of Christ, that personifies time. And as we do that, we start to participate with creation again. We start to step out as those sons that creation is waiting to see. Creation is ready for Christ followers to recognize that there is life in this cosmic temple. And our place of kingship in it, when the sons are revealed, it's kingship based on relationship. In other words, we're not going to rule what we don't know. Now, what that means for us is that in a time like this, when the season changes, and I know a lot of you on here, you've done this stuff with me before. That's why I'm getting through it quick. When the season changes, God invented these seasons. So you're already going to start in your imagination right now, starting to picture if springtime was a spiritual being. Who is that? What is that springtime entity of the cosmic temple? Who is that being? What are they like? Is it masculine or feminine? It's going to be probably different for all of you. In different ways, you're going to see different things. And that's good because you're going to participate with springtime as you were meant to. And so your imagination's already going to start picturing what springtime is like. And then we answer the question for ourselves, why would we participate with that? Like, in other words, what good does it do? And the answer is really simple. At some point, God is ready for his kids to grow up and experience creation like the Godhead does. And the Godhead experiences this wonderful give and take relationship where, of course, God is giving existence and being and reality to all of that spiritual presence in creation. And all of that creation is in turn attending back to God. So we're standing here as the image of God in this place. We're the reflection of God. The other word there is idol. It's like we're the smaller representation of God in all of us. And so if you're following the structure here, the creation is ready for us to be revealed because we're going to give it its existence and its life by acknowledging that it has spirit, and it in turn has something to pour back on us so that we'll grow up into the image in which we were created. It's just part of the human growth cycle that we're in. We're growing up into the image of Christ. So already your imagination might be going to work. If this spirit of springtime, if the season has a voice and a frequency and a form that you could relate to, and then you imagine springtime is like this cosmic vitamin for you. It's some nutrient that comes from the creation itself into you to bring you into more abundant life in Christ, to bring you more into that Romans 8, which is a next age picture of what we're coming into. Our commission for the next age is to free and liberate the creation. So imagine springtime pouring back into you with this specific song, this specific vitamin, this specific nutrient that's designed to attend to you just like it does to the Godhead and build you up and raise you up. Now, if you're like me, you're already feeling the creativity of spring. I have all sorts of fun interests, right? I love astronomy. I love aquariums. I was like, Melissa, we should do an aquarium again. And she's like, no, we shouldn't. That's the last thing we should do right now. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. But in my mind, I'm ready to create things. I want to create little worlds. I mean, and you probably sense that around springtime as well. Just to put in here, someone said, Mimi, you said, this explains why I couldn't wait to get out in the dirt in my garden barefoot here in Massachusetts, which I'm guessing your dirt in Massachusetts is a little colder than my dirt in Florida. I was craving it and have out barefoot, even though I still have some snow on the ground. It's definitely colder dirt. I did not read the second part of that. Your dirt is definitely colder than my dirt in Florida, but yes, you're still out there barefoot to participate. So what we're going to do tonight in like 30 seconds here is we're going to go in the Spirit together with the Lord as our chaperone. If this is the first time for some of you, chaperone is great. Nothing better than having the Messiah there as the chaperone. And we're going to invite ourselves to meet spring, the season itself. Now, I'm just going to throw out there for you. Your ancestors, many of them, associated this time of year with a planet. Just like Saturn, you hear me talk about Saturn when we do Christmas in the heavens. You could hear me talk about Venus when we talk about springtime. Our ancestors had this picture, flawed though it was, that there was a particular kind of spiritual being that was especially active at springtime. And it was the spiritual being that personified love, beauty, new creation, new life, all the aesthetic value, all the growth, all the little plants and animals, even the bunnies, even the eggs, right? All of those things were kind of Venus symbols. And if you're like me and you're reaching for that next age, and I've been saying this, I think, for the last month, I'm probably gonna be saying it all year, there's a driving question in every next ager. It's this: why did God make Venus? And at what point in our story will we finally figure it out? Now, whether or not you go into the heavens tonight, or it's night for me, could be day for the Australian friends, it is for sure. Whether or not you go tonight and you see a holy version of Venus, not the pagan lady that our ancestors worshiped, but you see the angelic creature, the angelic being, feminine, I'm sure she is, that was always meant to interact with humanity because it's centered on the Christ. Just know that that's okay. That would be a pretty normal thing to experience at a time like this. And if springtime looks different to you, you can go with that too. But either way, let's go meet him right now, okay? You ready? Give me a nod if you're ready. Great. I like to do these little adventures. I'll prompt you with questions. Sometimes that kind of keeps us all on the same page. You're going to use the chat box like you're doing. Someone can already see her, by the way. You said something is singing, and you can see her already. Yeah. When we do this, use that chat box. The question prompts are there because I think there's something powerful when we do these Zoom calls together and we welcome in a season together. You guys realize we're like, I'm just looking at the count right now. 163 of us that are bringing our intention together right now to welcome in a part of the cosmic temple, to welcome in a part of creation that exists to attend to and to pour into the image of God on the earth, which is us. That intention of us doing that together means something. Let's go find out how much it does mean, okay? If you want to close these eyes, open these eyes. It's going to be very particular to each of you. Maybe you're back where you were in our imagination exercise. That would be okay. But I want you to imagine a beautiful garden. And for you, it's the best garden you can imagine. And I'm telling you, don't worry about it. You're like, Christopher, is it real if I'm making it up? If you can imagine this garden, my friends, it already exists in the heavenly realms. And it's only a matter of time before it makes its way down, by the way, into this realm of incarnation. So trust it. Trust your hunches here. Imagine for you a beautiful garden. I'm going to share mine in a minute. I've got that picture in my head. Some of you might be right back there in Pandora, swinging from vines in the sky or something. I don't know what you were doing. Some of you might be back in like a little, maybe it's a beautiful courtyard-like garden in that city that you were in, or it could be something totally different. Maybe you're just imagining Eden again. But your imagination remembers. Let it show you the picture, and don't be worried if you feel like you're making it up. Kristen asked me, what if you see a garden that exists on earth already? No biggie, Kristen, see it. Let your imagination tell you the story. Do not worry about that at all. And Luann, you said it. I saw a tree at first with only bare branches and then with buds and green leaves. Yeah. Deborah, you said, yay, bushes with lemon meringue and Marion berry pie. Beautiful, beautiful. For me, I felt like I was in an oasis in the desert. And I'm cheating a little bit because I found this place yesterday on another call. But I'm on this oasis. I'm in this oasis and it's huge. It's like there's desert all around, but I'm walking under date palms and there's walls to this garden and there's fountains. It's just like this beautiful oasis. Yeah. And if you want to put it in, tell us where you're at, that's fine. If you just want to say it to yourself, just verbalize to yourself, that's the best way to go about it. Talk to yourself about it. Mimi, you said it's indescribable. I'm miniature inside of it and I'm a giant looking over it at the same time. Isn't it amazing? The perspectives and the vantages that your imagination can give you. You're doing great, friends. Yeah, Regina, you said, I see that too, Christopher, my oasis in the desert garden. Yeah, but I'm above it and you can feel the wind and see everything moving with the wind. Beautiful. Jason, you've got pink flowers with cool soil in your hands. Beautiful. Someone else, Terry, you were like constant growth happening all around me. And Jerry, you're in full on creation mode. You see a kangaroo with a koala face and very soft fur, and you got on its back. It's just beautiful. Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful. Again, I know Rebecca just joined in. I just admitted her in. We're just imagining a garden, Rebecca. We're getting ourselves in that perfect garden. Now, do what you were doing before, friends. Run through your senses. What do you imagine you would smell? What do you imagine you would hear? What do you imagine you could touch? And verbalize it all to yourself. Narrate to yourself the story. My first impression, I smelled honey in this place. And I know I'm drinking tea, but I swear I smelled tea in the spirit too. I still think like the Lord wants to have tea with me or something. I'm smelling it. I can smell honey. Can you smell honey? I think I can. Yeah, jasmine. Someone hears the buzzing bees. Yep. You can get bird sounds, little chimes for me too. You smell vanilla. Yeah. Nutmeg. That's the other smell that was coming to me. The vanilla just sparked it. Yeah, sweet, tangible fragrance, sweet nectar in mossy fields. You guys are doing great. Keep talking to yourself. Get all those senses going. Then the next question is going to be in this garden, Lord, where are you in this picture? Let's allow the Lord to be with us. Again, could be Messiah, could be Father, could be Holy Spirit. Just God, where are you in this picture? And if you're not close, get close. You can just go, Lord, come close to me, or tell me to come close to you. And again, let your imagination do it just like you were doing before when you had no limitations and you didn't care if it was going to be all right or all wrong. You just went for it. So just go, Lord, where are you here? Yeah. Sorry, I saw a comment there. Yeah, Durette, you said, I see all three of them at the table with an amazing apple pie and a large teapot. That's wonderful. Yeah, someone else saw dense tree-lined path into a gated garden, rows, hedges, and flowers kind of lining the path. Beautiful. Yeah. And Matt, you were like, he's next to me telling me his thoughts about creation. What a fun conversation that must be. I'm going to tell you, even before we do anything tonight, that if when I started going to heaven in the Spirit 10 years ago, so much has happened in those 10 years, but that first year, this is what I did. At least the first year, I was just in the garden with the Lord. I'd still be doing that today, even if nothing else was ever revealed. I'd still be walking in that garden every day with the Lord. It's just too good to let go of. I like what you said, Lisa. He's on a valiant white horse in front of me. Of course, the horse is valiant, carrying the King of Kings. Now, someone else, you're already there. Jesus is walking beside spring towards me, and we're going to get there for everybody else. Before you start to just be close, Lord, come close to me, or should I come close to you? Just want to be close enough to touch. And then when you're ready, just look at the Lord and say, Lord, would you introduce me to the Spirit? You can call it an angel, a spiritual being, an angelic being. Will you introduce me to the angelic being of springtime itself? And let your imagination show you. Don't hold it back. Let it show you, what does the spiritual being of springtime look like to you? To you. First impressions, don't write it off. Let it build the picture. Your imagination knows. Let it build the picture. If you want to put it in the chat box, those first impressions of what springtime as an angelic being looks like to you, throw it in there. Ask yourself some basic questions. What's the gender? Is it masculine or feminine? Listen, everyone in history, if they've ever seen an angelic being, had a gender. All right, it's always been one of the two, masculine or feminine. So trust your first impression. Sometimes it's the voice that gives it away. How about clothing? How about wings? Wings or no wings? Listen, your imagination will tell you. It's not a given that they have wings. Wings or no wings? How do you see this angelic being? Lisa, you said, wow, she has golden skin, drenched in a dewy light with a garland of multicolored stars around her head. Her garments are white and she is astounding. That sounds astounding. Beautiful. Yeah. Haley, you said the female being of flowers in the movie Narnia. Didn't even know there was one in Narnia. Need to brush up on my Narnia there. Yeah, someone else, she's like the elf Galadriel from Lord of the Rings. That's getting closer to what I see. Yep. But again, there's no right or wrong. Don't think if you're agreeing with me about this, it's right. Trust what your imagination is giving you. That's the eyes of your heart. Someone else sees golden wavy hair, speaks with the sound of tinkling bells. I tend to see her with dark hair and a crown that looks like it's got like stars in it, and one Venus, like if you've never seen Venus in the sky at night, it's so bright and it's so shiny. It's twinkling right there in the center of her crown. Yeah, I see her oftentimes. Ben, you said she's wearing a green wreath on her head and a white garment. I see her oftentimes in greens and whites, and then sometimes in like almost like blue and purples and green iridescent, like peacock feathers. Sometimes that's how I see her, with that starry crown, because she's this personification of the principles, the universal principles of beauty and love and creation and new life. Yeah, someone, still she's surrounding you with a sweet song. Someone else sees her black-skinned, of course. Yes, tall and iridescent is how someone else sees her. Someone else, she has no end to her figure. Her long, long hair is full of cherry blossoms. Her trail of her dress goes on like pink smoke forever. You guys are doing great tonight, participating with creation. This may be the best I've ever seen in one of these giant Zoom calls. You guys are killing it. She has all the colors, all the flowers, all the plants, a beautiful crown, and it's changing. Did I get all that right? Yeah, beautiful crown of flowers, sorry. The other one was feminine, moving rainbows over a white glistening gown. The crown is moving and changing. Someone else says as she flies, she leaves a trail of stars behind her. It's amazing the access we have to participate with the angelic realm. It's like, my personal opinion, take it with a grain of salt, and all of my next age ponderings feel like this is a giant step for us to participate with the spiritual origins of our environment. And now that you do, I got to say this, Tracy sees a little bird sitting on her shoulders. Yeah. Now, as you're doing this, and if it's Venus, great. If it's springtime, great. Some of your ancestors saw those as the same things. It doesn't matter. You're just participating with this season right now in a holy way, in a Christ-centered way. Let's start asking some questions. Not for selfish gain, right? Let's get relational. Let's treat creation like the wonder that it is. Let's look at the spiritual being and say, what does springtime mean to you? Because we're talking to the personification of it. Let's not even ask for something for ourselves. Maybe we'll get there, but let's just start with, what does springtime mean to you? And let's trust the first impressions. Yeah, Luann, you said she's so big and majestic because she's holding all this kind of life in her hands. Beautiful. Oop, oh, let me not skip these. You guys are getting some great words here. What does springtime mean to the spirit of spring herself? And if you saw a hymn, don't freak out. That's totally okay. All right, let me read some of these. A new beginning, opening up the earth, resurrection, new life, rebirth. There's some more new life here. Definitely getting some. It's a resurrection of all that has passed into life, rebirth. You guys are getting, it's like you're listening to the same presence, maybe. Tons of fun. New life, original intent. That's a cool word, Donna. Life. You know what was weird? I tried to trust my first impressions here. I felt like she said friendship. That's what springtime means to her. Shifting of the elements. But you see a feminine being, slim and tall, wearing white. Yeah. Pure and creative, pregnant with endless possibilities. That's what spring means to her. Great job. Yeah, we need each other. It's what Deborah said. Laughter of the babies, life, abundance, provision, prosperity, faithfulness, loving kindness. Linda, you said waking up out of winter sleep. Ooh, and I went right by it. So sorry. I may not find that again, but it was going to be good. Waking up out of winter's sleep. Wherever that went from there, I'm sure it was good. I lost it though. Restoration of all, a lot of new life, pure and creative. Oh, I got that one. Joy of creation, fresh breath. Yeah, the waker of all things asleep. Beautiful. Flowers, beauty, renewal. She's waking up the earth. Arise and shine, taste new energy. Beautiful. A start over. Yeah, it's a new year. This is the Hebrew first month of the year, occurs in spring. Beckoning renewal to begin. The old being washed away is what Em was saying. Yeah. Now let's ask her another question. If you're talking to springtime, and if you got a name, great. If you want to ask for a name, I skipped over that step, but if you want to ask her, what should I call you? Let's do that right now. Let's be relational. Just look at springtime and go, what should I call you? What name do you want me to call you by? Trust that first impression. And I tell people when they do this, listen, you got to have fun, right? You cannot get locked in to you're going to get this stuff wrong. So if you heard her say a name you never expected, like Gertrude, then you better trust that. And if you heard her say some weird angelic name that's a combination of consonants and vowels you've never heard before, trust that too. Okay? Just we're having fun with this. We don't have to get it all right tonight. We're just participating, doing our part. Let's see what some of you saw here. Elsie, Elise, that's Elise. Zoe, Benedict, Flory, Heather. That's the name of a flower too. The heather. Mimi, sonnet. Azriel, incense, or Aziz, you're working that out. Breath of wind, Estaria. Hope, aloha, Sophia. Charmaine, I feel like that's Charmaine. Fallon. Great, you guys are just rocking tonight. Harmony, Magnolia, alive. Anastasia, So, Rebecca, you said you looked up Anastasia. That's what you heard, and it means resurrection. Beautiful. Juniper. Juniper, yes. Mary, Verity, Eleanor. Mariah, I heard Creedlin, but I'm cheating because I've been participating with her for years. Okay, so I'm cheating, but I'm looking at her right now. Absolutely. I know her as Creedlin, and sometimes I call her Even Star because that's the evening star is another name for Venus. And so to me, springtime and the flora and the fauna and love and beauty and Venus are all wrapped up together in the same angelic presence that I interact with. And so to me, she's Creedolin. And if you break down that word, it means waters of faith, creed, faith. Lyn is an old Gaelic suffix that means like flowing water or waterfall. So waters of faith and even star because she's the evening star. Beautiful. Jewel, Violet. Yeah, so much fun. We're doing great. Let's welcome her in. Now, whatever you want to do to talk to her right now, or him, depending on who you're seeing, don't want to assume. What I want you to do is welcome. Just look at her. Jesus is there. You're all there together. Take the moment and be welcoming. And however that works for you in conversation tonight, just give it a go. Just we welcome you in. We accept that you're a part of life and that everything that God made had spirit. If I'm putting words in your mouth, don't say them. Really, trust me. I'm not offended at all. If I'm, next age ponderings, okay? If you're comfortable, you just kind of go, look, I know the cosmic temple is alive. I know that the angelic beings are personifying this cosmos and creation. So I know that you exist. Welcome into our world. Welcome into life. I'm doing that right now with her. I love what you said, just Caleb, you just said, as I meet her, my winter skin falls off. How cool is that? Someone else said, I welcome you and I'm partnering with you to bring new life. This is a Romans 8 moment, folks. We're just really rushing into some Romans 8. Sons and daughters being revealed, freeing the creation from its frustration, letting it be liberated into the glorious freedom of the sons. That's what you're doing. Rebecca, you're weeping as you're welcoming her. You're needing new life and hope, or she's needing that, or you are. Yeah. Yeah. Linda, you said, I feel like we're supposed to release the breath and the frequency of the YHWH, the name of God, into creation to restore all of this area into original design. Definitely be doing that right now, Linda. Yes. Breathing her in, holding her in my breath and breathing her out. I just read that. And as you're doing that, a great question for her tonight is, how can I participate with you for these next 3 months? How can I participate with your part of the cosmos for the next 3 months of spring? How would you like us to do that? And throw that question out there and see what she says. I don't know what it means. My first impression was, lead the children in the garden. That's the first phrase I heard. I have no idea what that means, but I felt like that's what she told me. Lead the children in the garden. Maybe we'll do one of these Zooms for kids coming up. I have no idea, but lead the children in the garden is what I heard. Yeah. Going to read yours in just a minute. Take some time, trust those first impressions, let the eyes of your heart work, see yourself in that garden with the Lord as the chaperone, with the spirit of springtime, participating with the cosmic temple here. Just let it all kind of come in. Yeah, I'm going to read some of yours. Yeah, I read that one. Sorry. She wants us to release her to restore the earth. She's saying, let us walk to, oh, and I went right past it. I'm so sorry when I do that. Let's awaken the others. Be tender with my earth is what she told Mimi. Wants to release springtime on earth as it is in heaven. We do it creatively. Avril, by noticing. That's how you participate with her, by noticing. Do you know that's so good, but it's harder than you think in this world that we live in. It's harder than you realize to be conscious that the world around you is so full of life and voice and frequency. It really does take a conscious effort to hang in there with creation and acknowledge it and go, spring, I know that you're here. I at least want to notice you. And that's, again, to do that for the next 3 months, that is harder than you think it is, but it's a good pursuit. Yeah. Yeah. Dorette, she told you she wants to meet, she's told me she wants to dance with the children and for you to, and use your flags. Yeah. For dancing. Wonderful. Wonderful. Let's see if there's any more in here. It says that there are. Celebrate light and life and love. Observe her. Call forth all that's been damaged. And where there is death, release back into life. Yeah. A lot of releasing joy. A lot of releasing those kinds of things. Maybe you heard, go outside and bless the earth with your hands and with your bare feet. Absolutely. Get out there. Give it a blessing. Give it the blessing a son or a daughter would give it when you're releasing it as the part of creation that it is. Relax in the sunshine. Now, one last thing before we finish this up. This is fun if you've never done this before. Look at that angelic being that personifies spring. Ask her, and maybe for some of you him, this question. Point to the Lord and go, what do you think about him? Ask spring, what do you think about the Messiah? Or what do you think about the Father? Or what do you think about Holy Spirit? It's one of the most precious moments you can have with the spiritual beings that personify this creation. Ask her what she thinks of the risen Lord. Put it in the chat box. Say it to yourself. Don't keep it inside. Before I got to this part, Nikki, you said she's placing a crown of flowers on your head, which is beautiful. Play with sounds is what you heard, Linda, when we were asking that question. Relax in the sunshine is what you heard, Linda. It's great. What does she think about the Lord? Let's see if I can not blow by these when I try to scroll through the chats here. Oh, I'll just start with this. If I missed yours again, I apologize, but you're getting it out, and that's what matters. Say it out loud. If I don't read it out loud, make sure you said it out loud. All the colors, Dorette, all the colors I carry are a reflection of what he gives me. Immeasurable love. I am his joy. He is mine. And Lisa, she loves and honors Yahweh and Yeshua. And she said, Yeshua makes me laugh all the time. I could definitely see that. Oh, let's see it. I'm trying to get through this. Here we go. I see she ran to him and put her arms on him. I see her personifying in rapid transitions, joy, pregnancy, evolve, light, reverence, flowing waters, love, and joy. Jason, what she thinks about Messiah is he's a magnificent creator of the universe. He gave all for you to experience with us. He did give all for us to experience this. She honors the creator of all and bows down. This is you, Jennifer, entering into song and dance, releasing sounds and colors. Kristen, you heard her say, he's magnificent. He's magnificent. I heard her say, well, I'll read this one too. Infinite. He's the master gardener. These are some more. He is so beautiful and he takes my breath away. I heard her say, I was there at the resurrection. I was there when he came out of the tomb. That's what she was telling me. And I watched and I clapped and I adorned him with flowers and laurel crowns and everything else. And she was part of that moment. Yeah. Wherever you are, just kind of, again, close these eyes, open the eyes of your heart, be in that garden with the Lord and with the spirit of springtime, and acknowledge it and be grateful and say thank you. And please don't let this be the last time you do this, friends, for these next 3 months. But look at them both and have a gratefulness moment. Gratefulness opens so many doors. Say what you're thankful for. Say what you're thankful for tonight. Release that out to both the risen Lord and this part of creation that came from him, the Word, because everything was made through him. So acknowledge that part of creation that came through the Word and just be grateful and just release that love. And maybe even make another appointment to come back and spend some time with them. Yeah, a few other people heard that word about resurrection too. So we're just thankful. I'm just looking at them right now. Thank you for spending this time with us, for giving us an hour or so of our time to be together and with our intention to be like these Romans 8 sons coming out and freeing and liberating the creation with what you've given us, Lord. And we acknowledge springtime and we welcome you, spring. Creedolin even star to me. And we just say, go for it. Release your new life and your new buds and your new flowers, and show us the areas of our life that are ready to be reawakened again. Show us the parts of our life that are ready for a completely new season, where the old season is gone and we're ready for a new one. Just go to work, and we're going to let you be that part of the cosmos in our lives. Amen. Amen. Friends, if you ever want to go back and do that again, those last couple questions are good. You can start talking to spring about those things. What about my life is ready for a new beginning? What's ready? What's gone in the winter? What's the new dream? What's the new creative act that you're stepping into? All of that's good. My friends, it's 9:15. I will give you the fair warning. If you want to check out now, I do not want to mess with the place where you are right now with the Lord and with the angelic realm. So if you want to check out, have that time, great. If you want to hang on for a few minutes, I'm just going to tell you about what's going on in the world of Discover the Heavens. So again, if that's you, no offense at all. I would completely understand. That's why I'm giving you a big time warning here. So you make sure you get what you need to get out of tonight. And if you need to sign off, just know tons of love to you. So glad you got to join us. If you're on at this point, let me just give you a few updates about things that we're doing coming up. In April, those of you that want to do something online, I know Deborah Stowe was on here at some point. And if you are, throw that back in the chat box. Let me know if you're still here, Deborah. But Deborah's putting together a very fun Zoom meeting. And Deborah, if you want to put any link in the chat box, if you're still here about that, that occurs, I want the 8th and 9th of April. I'll also be, those of you that are in America, be in Moravian Falls. If you want to go to Moravian Falls the weekend in April, the 16th, 17th, and 18th, I want to say there's like a few spots left. Maybe it's 5, maybe it's 6. But if you want to be a part of that, I just need an email so that I can give you the link to sign up for the registration. That's a limited seating kind of venue. And I think there's just 5 or 6 spots left. And I thought I'd just throw it out there tonight in case someone wants to go to Moravian Falls, North Carolina, and hang out with us for a weekend. Mary Haas is going to be there. She was with us tonight. But send me an email if you're interested in that Moravian Falls thing, 16, 17, 18 of April, chris@discovertheheavens.org. Lastly, I'm going to start a new online class on Earth Day, which is April 22nd. And the class is going to be called How Should We Live? And yes, it gets its inspiration from Francis Schaeffer's How Then Shall We Live book and actual video series. Oh, and Deborah, I'm seeing you in here. You said, I'm here. April 8th and 9th, Corporate One Ministries is hosting Chris for 2 nights. You can check with Chris' website for instructions when it's on there soon. Or, it's in the chat box, blowing right by it. Or sign up or call Deborah, and her number is in there. Deborah Stowe, there you are if you're interested in that. And I think there's a link there Yep, there is a link there from Dale Shannon for that event, it looks like, too. So that's good. It's there if you need it. And I've just completely messed up the chat box. There we are. Dale sent the link. There it is. I see it in there. Wonderful. Thank y'all for that. Email me about Moravian Falls if you're interested. Now, about that class, how should we live? I'm going to do it different than the classes I've done in the past. Every class I've done, I've recorded. And then when we're done, I still have it on my site, which is, you can get there just going to discovertheheavens.org. And my teachable site, the link to our online school is there on discovertheheavens.org. But every class I've done, I've recorded and then had it available after. I'm going to record this class for those who are in it, but I am not going to have it available after, because this is the closest thing, and I hesitate to use the word, but it's the closest thing to a mentoring like class that I've ever done. And at 42 years old, I don't feel comfortable using the word mentoring. In my mind, you need to be older. But what I'm going to do with that class is it's going to be a lot of communal learning. If, we'll be there on Zoom once a week, Thursday nights. And when we're on Zoom, I've got kind of a schedule for the 8 classes. That class is going to be 2 months or so. And sometimes we miss a week for something. So it might be a little over 2 months. And we'll do that class, and it's going to be really learning together, practicing some things together. We're going to do a technology fast together during that class. So if you're interested in really being crazy and looking crazy to those around you, sign up. We're going to have a week for that where we will fast from technology in some way. And I think when we do the Zoom call the week that we fast from technology, I have a fun idea, and I have no idea if it will work. But we're going to do the Zoom meeting that week by candlelight. So the rule is going to be, get on the Zoom call, but you can only use candles to light it up, and your little computer will be on and you'll have candles around. We're going to do some fun things. We're going to do everything from imagination exercise. We'll explore a little bit of philosophy in this, but a lot of it is really going to be centered on what do we need to do for these next few years to step into this calling. And in my mind, we're going to win it in the small battles. This class is about winning it in the small battles. There's going to be a lot of time for question and answer. Those of you that are in it, you'll get to direct those topics. We really are going to get together and discuss some things. So if you want to be a part of that, go to discovertheheavens.org. You can sign up there. If you've ever taken a class with me before, through our online portal there, you're probably going to get an email from me about it as well, but you can go check that out. What times on Thursday, Cindy? It'd probably be either 8 or 8:30 Eastern. Our folks that tend to join these classes in the UK and East tend to like it earlier, and then our folks in the West Coast tend to like it later. So I really try to find that sweet spot. So normally around 8 or 8:30 is when we do them. And if you have any questions about that, do let me know. We will explore connecting with creation. We're going to really take Job's words to heart, or God's words to Job to heart. When God says to Job, ask the earth and it will speak to you. Speak to the birds of the air and they will teach you. So we're going to be practicing listening and even getting our news feed from our environment. So we're going to practice where we live to the horizon and letting our world give us information. And we'll get together in our Zoom meeting and we'll share what we got. We'll share how it affects our life. So that's kind of where that next online class, How Should We Live, is headed. Feel free to sign up. And then lastly, if any of you ever feel called to be a part of what we're doing, support in any way, and my discovertheheavens.org website is a donate button. It's there for you if God leads you. And that's the end of my kind of shameless product placement moment, although kind of different than the ones I normally do where I prop a book up and go, and this book is out too. So that's it for tonight, everyone. On a personal note. Oh, and there's our link for Mary Haas. If you're interested in those last 4 or 5 or however many spots they are in Moravian Falls, that link that says maryhaas.com/product/Carter Conference Spring 2021. That's what you're looking for there. Personally, I love doing this with you all so much. You are just the best. I don't know if someone's told you that today, but I'm going to. You are just the best. You're fantastic. You give me such hope. Really, doesn't it work for y'all when you get together and you realize you're not crazy? All of these people are crazy too. Isn't that helpful? It's so much fun to know that you're not the only one. No, y'all do a great job. I love how you participate. So much fun to see how much interest has grown and developed in these last couple years. People are ready to step into new things. And my personal feeling is that our governance in the next age is going to be a governance in creation, much less about governing your fellow man, much more about stepping into true human kingship in creation itself. So on that note, love you all. Have a wonderful evening and a wonderful beginning of spring. See you all soon, especially those of you that live in Florida. I'm talking to you, Weintraub family. I see you right there in the square. Gonna see you soon. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you around. Bye-bye.